Hello, my name is Rob Garner. I'm a computer programming instructor, and today I'm going to demonstrate how to store values in variables in Python. So I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code and open a new folder. So in my 1220 folder, I'm going to make one called variables. We'll select that folder, and that will be the folder that we have open. So I'll call this variables demo.py. And then we'll start writing some code. So first, well, let's say we want to store an integer. So storing an integer in a variable. So we could say age equals 25 and print age. So notice that this is some text. This is some text, and we are taking the value 25. The equal sign is, in this instance, I would recommend reading this as assign to. So what we're doing is we're saying take 25 and assign it into the variable age. You can even see when you hover over this, it says the variable age is going to have the literal value 25 once we do this assignment. And then down here, we're using the print function, and the print function is going to display what's stored in age. So let me run this. I'm going to hit F5, which is going to start running. And we can see it shows 25. Now, the neat thing about variables is you can change them. And you can see initially it was 25 and then it became 30. So variables can be changed to all kinds of things. And so the difference between using a literal value when you're doing things in programming and using a variable is that you can use the variable to be as a place to store some value and then update that value as you go. So that's storing a number. You can also store a string. And you can see here it's storing the string. We can also have a space here. Notice that even though there's two words in here, this is one string. So the string is any number of characters between two quotes. You can also use a single quote. They have to be the same though. And single and double quotes are the same. This makes a string, and the string gets stored here. Notice how important the quotes are. When you do this, we get an error. In fact, here it says John is not defined. So why is it saying that rather than saying you're missing some quotes? Well, the computer comes through here and it reads what you've typed. It says, okay, well, name, that's a variable, and it's on the left side of an assignment operator. So whatever is going to come after here is going to be assigned in here. So what's over here? Well, it thinks that that's a variable. In fact, you know, if this was here, it would actually be okay with that because it would think that this is the variable John, and then it'd be assigned in here. But then we have this piece over here, and this is thoroughly confusing to it because it's like, well, this might be a variable, but now I have no idea what this is. That's why with a string, it's really important to have the quotes around it, because then Python will come to here and say, oh, this is just a bunch of text. So when you're using a string, you have to have either double or single quotes around it so that Python knows, oh, treat this as just some text, not as a variable, not as a special command. This is just a variable. This is just a string. Now, we can also use variables and expressions. So we could say total age is equal to age times 2 for some reason. So what's happening here? We're taking this value, whatever it is, and we're multiplying it by 2. So I'll take some of this out so we don't have so much of it. And yes, so this is, we learned how to do math expressions before. Here we're just doing multiplication. We can take those results and store it in a variable. So if I run this, we see the results. Now this is kind of hard to see what's happening. So what we can do is we can put some prompts in front of here and say age is, and we could put name is. We'll just put a string in front and it's separated by a comma, and you'll see that when you do that, it's much easier to read. So sometimes using some prompts would be here. We could, maybe this might be more accurate to identify it as double age, in which case we could do this. Okay, there we go. So here we're multiplying by 2. And I'm just showing you that you can, the names can be anything you want. The computer actually doesn't read the names. It doesn't even know what this means. It's just an identifier as far as it's concerned. So what's important for us is to put names in here that make sense from our perspective. And just as a reminder, yes, we can reassign a variable. And we can see, yeah, we changed it. Now, there are some conventions. First, you can use any character, capital letter or lowercase character, and you can use an underscore. So an underscore can sometimes be useful to make a compound word make sense. You can also add use a number in your variable name. You can't do this. You can't have a number start a variable name. So that's invalid. And you could do that, but generally, but this is not recommended. snake case is recommended, and that means everything's lowercase, and so snake case is all lowercases with underscores separating words. So that's the general recommendation for Python. And when you want to display a variable, it's usually good practice to put a prompt in front of it so that you can see what it is. So you can see here, this makes it easy to see, having these, you can either say something like name is, this looks a little more conversational. You can use a prompt with a colon, whatever you need to do to make this look okay. You can also combine things in one, just put multiple commas, and you can put things on a single line if you wanted to. So that's the fundamentals about using variables. We're going to learn more complex things we can do with variables, but for now, we just want to see, we want to be able to name them properly, which means, upper and lowercase characters and underscores, but by convention in Python, we used snake case, which is all lower cases with underscores, and you can use numbers in that though. And then, yes, and you can't put a number in front of it. It's got to start with a letter. So those are the fundamental rules for using variables. Thank you very much.